Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty. This particular video is rather somber because a member of our YouTube family has unfortunately met her early demise. And this is Lala Smith, also known as by her real name, Lauren Smith Fields. Now, before I go on, I just want to show you a clip from one of her videos so you can get a better understanding as to what she was about.
It's Lauren. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and I'm gonna be doing I'm gonna install this wig. So I already bleached it, the knots, and I tinted well, I didn't tint the hair, but I made it a little bit dark because I like darker hair. So it's like 24 inches. And I'm going to clip the ends a little bit more because I like that natural, even look. But this is like another wig of mine. I'm going to take this wig off and put this motherfucker on. Here. We're about to get into it. First of all, I want to show y'all this lace though. Like, okay, so this is Swiss lace.
So as you see, Lauren Smith Fields was part of our YouTube family. And you can also see her on Facebook. And it's unfortunate because Lauren Smith Fields is a Bridgeport woman found dead in an apartment after meeting older white man on Bumble. Now this case right here is very odd, strange, tragic, a lot of layers to it, and a lot of speculative things surrounding it. But obviously her family is devastated, as any family would be. And they just have a lot of questions. So I'm going to let you hear from them.
Killing me inside. I miss my baby.
The mother of 23-year-old Lauren Smith Fields of Bridgeport says her family's world came crashing down 10 days ago when her daughter was found dead inside her apartment on Plymouth Street under what the family describes as mysterious circumstances. The medical examiner has not yet released the cause of death, and investigators aren't commenting.
Without a doubt, we know that my daughter was not a drug user, and I had a second autopsy myself, paid out of pocket, because we felt so uncomfortable.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel.
Lauren was a familiar face to YouTube audiences. Her family says she had been a track star at Stanford High School and was now studying physical therapy at Norwalk Community College. A sweet child, they say, who had blossomed into a beautiful young woman who had the whole world at her feet. They say Lauren had met, quote, an older white man on the dating app Bumble, and it was he who alerted police to Lauren's death. With answers they got from an investigator.
I asked him about the guy. He just made it seem like the guy was a nice guy. It was nothing to investigate.
Okay, so you heard from the grieving, devastated family members about their loved one's unfortunate passing. But I don't get good feelings about what they're going to discover as to what their loved one was doing. You'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, a 23-year-old black woman met an older white man via dating app. She ended up dead in her home. The man alerted the police to the police, and they said he was a very nice guy who doesn't need to be investigated. So, like I said, I think that they probably investigated look at his hands, fingernails, look for any scratches, look for any type of torn clothing, and maybe he is ruled out. Maybe they didn't find any matching DNA. And the family, maybe, I mean, they're claiming that she didn't do drugs. Maybe she wasn't, a recreational, let's say, drug user, habitual. But you can experiment, and experiments can go wrong. Or maybe she had a side life or nightlife that they were completely unaware of. When someone is out in their own apartment, their own home, have their own place, you really have no idea as to what type of life that they are living. Let's go on. So this young black woman meets an older white man off a dating app. She ends up dead, but somehow the man is a nice guy who doesn't need to be investigated. Something is very off. Okay, I do agree that something is very off. And, the wording, that nice guy, they should never have used that particular word. I think for a family member who's lost a loved one, that's like a slap in the face. It's very tacky. It's extremely unprofessional. You really have to wonder who even wrote that, who even said that in a police report. That was truly, truly uncalled for. Was this sex work? Meeting an older white man off of an app at your apartment for the first time. Now, some may say this is very tacky. I think this is a very valid question. I really do. Because I can recall at one of my apartments where I used to live in Long Beach, California. I lived downstairs, and there was a girl who lived upstairs from me. And she would have men. I mean, sometimes in a day, I would see like 3, 4 going up to her apartment. She was meeting them online. She was meeting them off apps. She was escorting. So this is a very uncomfortable question, but I think a very valid question. Seems like she was probably selling her kitty to sugar daddies and paid a heavy price for it. Feel for her family, but those are the dangers of prostitution. Okay, we don't know this yet. We don't know this yet. It could have been a legitimate date, or it could have been this. But either or, if it's a legitimate date, the last thing you want to do is have them come over to your place alone. The last thing that you want to do is be alone with them. And if it is escorting, I think you still don't want to put yourself in a position to be alone. If it's an escorting job, I think that young ladies should look into possibly having some type of a bodyguard, a protector there. If you're being paid $200, maybe you want to pay them $70 to be in another room. Maybe you want to somehow form some type of a coalition or group of call girls, escorting girls, where you can notify each other of someone who's coming over. And maybe you guys can somehow give the cut to or pay them a percentage of what you're getting. Well, what I'm saying with this right here is that whether it's a legitimate date or whether it's escorting, you just do not want to be alone with someone. So you better look into having someone there because it could end up like this situation here. Do you remember the woman, death of a woman found after hiking a date with the officer ruled an accident? She made a big mistake right here. Woman 31 who died after abandoning first date hike with Arizona cop was killed by an accidental heat exposure. Medical examiner rules. So apparently she met him online. She, I believe, invited him to California. So their first date was a hiking date. and somehow they didn't get along. So he either bailed or she bailed. He says that she left. But an argument pursued, and one of them left the other. They just figured that they weren't not a match, not compatible. However, she was not used to hiking, or she was dehydrated, and she ended up with heat exposure. But basically dying on the date. But this is a situation where still you just do not want to risk being alone with a first date. It's always good to have a group setting. And if it's the other thing, look into having someone else in the room while you're entertaining. Now here's Lauren. So much to live for. We really don't have any answers yet. I guess they have not released the final results. Yet we all do feel bad for the family, and it's just so unfortunate. Their children, they're out there. We want to believe the best of them. Sometimes we could still have an image of them in our minds, but that was of them when they were younger. And we do not have any idea as to the type of life that they're living at the moment. And many times they're not going to share that with their parents or with the family. So I'm making this video because not too many people are even covering it. It's not even been picked up. Very few YouTube people are even talking about this particular story. Lauren needs justice. However she died, just the truth. Whatever the truth is, if it was a drug overdose, it was a drug overdose. If it was murder, then let's find the person. But hopefully a bigger YouTuber can pick it up. It can get the ball going so the family can have some closure. I look at her and just think that, she could be my daughter. She has so much to live for. And it's just tragic how her life ended. And whatever she was doing, if it was escorting, she still does not deserve that. The way her life ended. But however, that's speculative. We truly have no idea as to what really happened. We have no idea as to what she was doing. The only thing that we know is that the circumstances surrounding it is just very strange, very odd. And hopefully everyone knows that you just do not invite strangers over to your place who you met online. You do not invite dates over who you met online. You don't invite dates over who you met on the street, people who you just don't know. It's extremely dangerous. It's very risky behavior. So we just hope that justice is served, whatever the outcome may be. We hope that the family can get some closure on this very painful episode in their life, which is not going to go away. But this right here is just me doing my small part and just trying to bring awareness to this unfortunate incident that happened. So with that, Lala Smith, may you rest in peace. And this was another edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty, and I will see you all beyond and through.